Good evening, everybody. It's almost that time. We'll be starting shortly. All right. We are just about 10 p.m. on a Friday. It's about time to start this episode of Beyond the Doll. Let's see, I'm gonna turn down this music a little bit here. Hold on. There we go. It's like low enough. Hopefully it's not like overpowering or anything like that. But it's just for now. I'm going to take it off in a bit. So we are going to transition in just a second. Let's see, where's my transition button? Sorry. There we go. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm checking my screen to make sure that I'm actually showing up on camera. Hello, everybody. It is a wonderful Friday evening of May 20th. It's currently 10:01 p.m., so we are just about on time. A little bit late than usual by like a minute. But how's everybody doing tonight? Y'all ready to talk about something awesome and maybe potentially could be toxic? I don't know. This is a topic I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. But there could be a lot of different feelings in regards to it. And we're probably going to have to... we're probably going to have to like tread carefully, I guess, on this topic. So this is the third episode now of Beyond the Doll. As always, I am your host, Shizusan. And my lovely girl over here that is assisting me for today is Mika Jogasaki of Smart Doll and Idolmaster. Today's topic. Okay, for those of you watching, today's topic is going to be the doll community. So we are going to tackle what's been going on in the community, what the community's like, different communities out there, just in general, like the community. I'm not going to go into too many specifics because that could really go on for like a long time and be like multiple episodes worth. But we're going to cover some of the basics, basically. And then maybe if we have some time tonight and we don't run too late, we'll talk about maybe some slightly controversial issues or not so controversial issues, depending on what it may be. So let's see, where should we start? If you're new to the community for dolls, welcome. Hopefully that this video will be a little bit informative for you, or very informative for you, or maybe it's not helpful at all. Who knows? I guess we're gonna see and find out. Let's move Mika over back to her little staging area, because it's hard to hold her and do this at the same exact time. So before we get started on the topic and dive right in, I just want to say hello to everybody that seems to be in chat. Tempest, hello. Good evening to you. Derpy Jolteon, good evening to you. Hello. Carmen Sahagan, hello there. Hopefully y'all are having a good evening so far. Yeah, Tempest, we'll get to maybe discussing a little bit about pre and post Facebook kind of thing, because that definitely does have somewhat of an issue that's relatable to today's topic. I shouldn't say somewhat, but it is definitely an issue. Whether or not people will think it's good or not, we'll see when we get to that. But hopefully everybody watching is having a good evening, and hopefully you'll continue to have a good evening as we go on with today's show. For those of you that may be watching at a later date and were unable to catch the live show, that's fine. I just hope you guys enjoy it, okay? So we're going to talk about doll community. Now, every single hobby that you could get into has its own community, no matter what it may be. You could be a car buff, you could be a fashionista, you could be a photographer, all different kinds of things, like figure collector, anime lover, comic book connoisseur. There's all these different kind of hobbies out there, and within each hobby there's always the community. There's the people that reach out to each other that have the similar interest and like to talk things, whether it's theories or analysis or news. Like this channel's kind of like news and sort of theory now because we're doing Beyond the Doll. But every community has its own like group of people, and within that own community, as most people know, there are its pros and cons. You just like anywhere else, the doll community has its pros and cons. There are good things about the community, there are bad things about the community, there's indifferent things, yada yada yada. One thing I will say is that for someone like myself, hopefully many of you can relate, are also coming from other hobbies as well. I don't know how many of you out there have started with dolls your entire life and always been in dolls in one shape or form, whether it be like these anime dolls that we talk about mainly on this channel, or stuff like Barbie, or porcelain dolls, or etc. I don't know most of your backgrounds that are watching this, but within the doll community there's going to be a lot of people of different backgrounds, different cultures, different likes and dislikes, and sometimes that clashes, right? But then other times it can be so inviting at the same time. I don't want to say that every single community out there has like bad people versus good people, so to speak, or all good people or all bad people, because like I said, it's different. But from my personal background, I came from like cars, like I was a big car guy, and video games community. And I don't know if it's just me or not, but those communities can be pretty toxic at times, depending on what type, at least for gamers, like what type of games you play. If it's ultra competitive, it could definitely be pretty toxic. At least that's the experience I had, because a lot of the games that I used to play when I was younger was pretty competitive. So that scene was, in my opinion, like at the time, was more toxic than it was like helpful. But that's just my personal experience, my personal opinion. Same thing with like the car community. When I was part of the car community, in the beginning, it kind of seemed like really good, and I was learning all this stuff I didn't know. But then when you start getting really into it, you start meeting like the other people who are super toxic, and they get like, what's the word? Like brand defensive. You know what I mean? Like, I only drive Toyotas and Toyotas are the best, or, etc., etc., or I only drive Beamers or something like that, right? So what you'll see is that in the doll community, you have the same types of things that go on in this community. Let's see. Barbie as a child post to play RPGs. AOL RPGs, BJDs, Tempest. Carmen, Barbie, scrapbooking, now adding Smart Doll to this year. Okay. Scrapbooking is like, that's an interesting one. Like, I never really gave it much thought when I was younger, but like now that I'm older, like I kind of like understand like the whole thing that goes into it, and that's actually pretty cool. I've seen some really cool scrapbooking stuff. Derpy, I feel you on toxic gamer community. That's why I'm a casual player only. Yeah, it can be toxic. It can be. It doesn't necessarily has to be all the time, but it definitely can be. Hey, Batman Jackson, what's up, Demi? Fauve Aeon, Silkstone Barbie, and Resin BJD. Just got my first SMD. Nice, congratulations. Derpy, but I mainly collect games, dolls, figures, manga, and journals. Oh, that's a cool set of hobbies. Yeah, definitely. And you know what's funny about like games and dolls and figures and manga is like they're kind of all intertwined with each other nowadays. Like it used to be, at least when I was growing up, it used to be separate. Like if you like comics, it was only like comics really. If you like games, you were like a gamer. But now everything kind of coincides because of like cross media stuff. So like you can have comics that are in movies now, which are in cartoons, which are in games. Like everything's crossing. I know they had some of that like back in the day, but I feel like it's more prevalent now. Like a lot of things start linking to each other nowadays than I feel like they used to, if that makes any sense. Fauve on Lolita fashion. It's either really chill or pretty toxic. Yeah. So as we talk more today about the doll community, you could see like there's a lot of similarities within the doll community as well. So when I started, right, and I was starting to learn about the hobby of these anime dolls, the hobby, I feel like it was still in its infancy, right? Because when I started, it was back in 2011. And then I didn't get my first doll until I believe it was 2013, if I'm not mistaken. But 2011, for those 2 years, from 2011 to 2013, I was like lurking a lot, like through like the internet or forums or whatever. And watching some YouTube videos. I want to say a lot of YouTube videos, but back then there wasn't many YouTube videos regarding anime dolls or what I cover on this channel. There were some, but there weren't really like a lot, if that makes any sense. So I remember when I started in this hobby, it was very like eye-opening and helpful. Like a lot of individuals that I ran across on forums, which I personally only knew of two back in the day, and I think nowadays I don't even know if there really are that many still up and running. So before I get to the reason why, we're starting from like back in the day, right? Like in 2011. So like there were like only two, and I remember my favorites to visit back in the day were Den of Angels, and there was another one called Dolphy Dream. I think it was dolphydream.com or dolphydream.org. And this was during the time when Smart Doll didn't even exist. So Smart Doll wasn't around back then. So my main focus was Dolphy Dreams at the time. I was trying to learn everything I could about Dolphy Dreams. And I remember the community on Dolphy Dreams was pretty active at the time. They have since changed their name. They're no longer Dolphy Dreams whatever. I think it was .com or .org or something. But they've since changed their name, and there are a brand new forum now called... Well, no, I say brand new, but they changed it maybe in 2018. I think they changed it, or 2017. But they changed it to dolldreaming.com. So if you go to dolldreaming.com, that forum is still up and running, although the traffic in and out of that forums is a lot less than it was when I first started. And I remember the community there was very open to new people. It was really cool. Like I went on there and I saw like some of my I was lurking on there and seeing some of the dolls I've been wanting, and some of the dolls I never knew about. People posting pictures. That was a big deal. Picture posting was a big deal on forums back then. I don't know when Twitter or Instagram came about, but at that time in 2011, I had neither. Like, I didn't have either account, so I can't really make a testament or testify to what it was like in 2011 when I started. But back then, I didn't have an account for either of those. So the only place I could really find things to share my new found addiction of dolls was on doll dreaming. That's really where I got my big start, aside from YouTube. I mentioned it in my first episode, I believe, of Beyond the Doll, is that I found things on YouTube. There were very small amounts of anime doll people, and their channel wasn't even focused on anime dolls, but a couple of their topics were anime dolls, which was like Arcangeli, Denali Win, RJ Dolls, and there was a couple random YouTubers up there that were only posting unboxing videos, and it was really like one unboxing and then they never posted again kind of thing, which is fine. I mean, a lot of people still do that nowadays. But that was my source of information. That's all I had to go off on that community. So it was mostly just dolphydream.com. And I remember people were so welcoming, and I would ask questions and everybody was kind of jumping at the bit to reply, to say, hey, check this out, or look at this, or do that. And it seemed really, really helpful. And I loved it. And I remember with Den of Angels, when you go on the Den of Angels forum, there wasn't really much in regards to the dolls that I was looking into. And my understanding is that Den of Angels is a very long-standing forum that was for resin dolls. And the only reason why they had a section on there that for Dolphy Dream was because it was made by the same company of Volks, and Volks is huge in the resin doll hobby. So they kind of grandfathered Dolphy Dream into it, right? So, but it wasn't really that active on Den of Angels for Dolphy Dream. So definitely dolphydream.com was where it was at the time. Let's see, Batman. My newest hobby is mechanical keyboard building. Yeah, I've noticed that is actually a hobby. I didn't even know that was a hobby, but that is actually like a big deal and can be expensive. Derpy, Doll Dreaming is a decent forum. I'm friends with one of the creators. Great source of information. Yeah, Doll Dreaming is definitely good, but it definitely has a lot less traffic than it used to when it was dolphydream.com. And we'll get into the reason why like later, because there's a big reason for that. Demi, I stopped using it for other than Marketplace and Facebook's group got bigger. Yeah, I agree. That's what we're going to talk about. Tempest, I'm just starting to look at keyboards, trying to decide which keys. And the Genesis DD was only grandfathered. Yeah, that's yeah. They were grandfathered in because of Volks. Custom keys are upwards of 300. Yeah, they can be expensive in the individual keys, right? Derpy, Den of Angels is still pretty anti-vinyl. Doesn't allow Smart Doll or a bunch of other vinyl dolls. That is correct. I don't want to say anti-vinyl, but you are correct. The only thing they have on there is Dolphy Dreams, and I'll get into that in a moment. Tempest, Derpy, it would be cool to interview your friend sometime. Yeah, that would be cool. Hit me up with that. What's it called? So for Doll Dreaming, it was my really first venture into the vinyl dolls and getting more information. And the cool thing is they had a whole section on there that was about meetups. And I actually wanna actually share that with you right now. Let me change screens here real quick so that you guys can see what it is that I'm looking at. Sorry, my second monitor is like acting all wonky. Where'd it go? Oh, there we go. All right, so let's transition here. So you guys can see my screen, right? So we're on Google. So if you type in Doll Dreaming, right? You're going to see it come up here, dolldreaming.com forums. We're going to click on that. This is the forums. It used to be dolphydream.com, but this is the forums. And you can see as we scroll down here, you can have a lot of different things. You have your information desk, news information, community. You got introductions. I remember doing my very first introduction. I know they like archive some of the stuff and put it in here. I don't know if my original introduction is still in here. You might actually find it if you search for it. But here, doll meetups and events right here. So like you can see if you click on here, there's a lot of things here. Doll meetups in the UK, virtual meetups, Anime Central 2022. Like you could see there's like MomoCon 2022. A lot of people post here about meeting up when they go to conventions. I used to post here a lot when I used to go to conventions when I first started, but back then I didn't get many replies, and you can see here some of them don't get many either. Like doll meetups in UK, only 2 replies. Anime Central still got 0 replies. So it really depends on how many people are using this forums and live in your area that's going to attend those events. So it could be hit or miss. But you see here Tokyo Doll Show, 14 replies. The Arizona community seems to be popping off, like 2,287 replies. So I mean, they have like a pretty big community here. But other than, meetups, you got photo stories. You have a specific Dolphy Dream section, a specific Smart Doll section that you could see here. They even have Obitsu for those of you that are interested in like A-Zone. Like you have the Obitsu doll section here. Other topics, etc., etc. Workshopping, like handcraft, painting, doll character concepts. It's really a good source of information and to meet other people in the hobby. But it's starting, these type of things, these forums are starting to die out, and I don't know how many of them are left. Like I said, I only know really of Den of Angels, which is very rare. They only have Dolphy Dream stuff, and this doll dreaming community is the only one I know of. If you guys know, put it down in the chat so other people can find out other community forums that they can visit. But those are the ones that I personally know of. So we're gonna switch back here. Sorry, moving my screens around. Let's see. Hey Shizu, nice to meet you. Have watched your videos for a while and I love them. Thank you, Jaffred. Favre Aeon, I don't like any of the Facebook groups, but I feel like DOA is a stale in general, but DD and SMD have always felt underrepresented, even though SMD thread in Brigaden is quite active. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not going to get much for Den of Angels other than Dolphy Dream, and even then it's a little, and I will get to that story in a moment. Tempest, hey all, tap the like button, maybe the algorithm will promote us. Yeah, if you tap the like button, the algorithm will promote us. It's definitely how it works. The more likes, the more this will get shared. Jaffred, Doll Dreaming is a great forum. You and that forum helped me a lot and understand Vinyl Doll World. That's awesome, because that's where I got started too, back when it was called Dolphy Dream. Tempest, there's the BJD meetup next weekend at Anime Boston. Yeah, I don't, when I used to go to Boston, I couldn't really find the meetups, or when I was there, I didn't run into anybody, which is a little unfortunate. Demi, I'll be at MomoCon next weekend. Awesome. So there's going to be one person at MomoCon, if those of you that are going. Tempest A-Zone, the first to boy body and internal frame. I'm more on Discord now. Yeah, the A-Zone with the boy thing is a whole nother topic that we could talk about boy dolls. But yeah, the doll dreaming is definitely awesome. And so when I went on dolphydream.com, which is now known as Doll Dreaming, they had the meetups thing, and I went. And I remember I went to my very first meeting from there, which was I live in New Jersey in the United States, and I went to the Central New Jersey Doll Meetup. That was my very first meetup. I was nervous as anything, because I love this hobby, and I love talking to people about the hobby, like on forums and stuff. But in person, I didn't know what to expect. Like I literally had butterflies in my stomach. I was like so scared because I didn't know what kind of people I meet. Maybe they'll like me, maybe they won't like me. I don't know. Like I came from other toxic groups before, so I don't want to run into that again. Especially, at least for me, I can't speak for everyone else out there, but for me, when I was new, I felt a little like I had some self-esteem issues with the hobby, because being like a male collector, like it's not like the norm, at least from my small group of friends that I'm around. It wasn't the norm to be collecting dolls or being into dolls. So meeting with this community, I was like, I hope they would accept me, I hope everything is okay. I was legit scared. But it turned out to be really cool. It ended up being like a small meetup of people. I think there was maybe 6 of us total that showed up, and everybody brought like multiple dolls, and it was so cool. And I remember those first couple of people ended up being my good friends, and like even till this day, I talk to them almost all the time, regarding dolls, because they were the first that I've met. And then from there, it just kept going on and on to trying out different doll meets, right? And that's what you guys should do. Like, this community is very embracing, and if you're like me and you have, like, second thoughts or doubts, or you feel a little, scared, don't be. Because most people in this hobby that you will meet, the majority of them are very nice and very open to talk to you, and it's a very loving hobby for the most part, right? There are some bad apples out there, just like every hobby has bad apples. It's not just dolls. Every hobby does. So you may run into those people once in a while, but it happens. And this brings me to my story about Den of Angels, right? Um, was it at the Mullica Hill Library, out of curiosity? No, the Mullica Hill meetup is actually a different community. That's the East Coast Central Doll meetup. And they go in Mullica Hill in southern New Jersey. I've only been there once, but awesome people. I want to go again, but my kids have like Saturday classes, so I don't have a chance to go down again until those classes are done. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Demi, there are more male vinyl collectors from what I've seen. Yeah, I, okay. This is where it gets with the community being like kind of like touchy feely. Like, it could get toxic really fast, but there was a stereotype, right? At least when I started. I don't know if this is still a thing anymore, but when I started the hobby, there was a stereotype that the only dudes that were into dolls were either, gay or some other form of LGBTQ plus, what's the rest of it? Binary, non-binary. There's a lot, but that community, right? Or it was you were a perv, like you had like sex dolls or something like that, like, or you were into hentai or something. Like, that was the stereotype. Okay, I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just saying that was like the stereotype of like a male doll collector. And I was, before I met people in person, that's what I was afraid of, if people were gonna see me as that, like, but when I went to my first doll meetup, it really wasn't. There were a lot of other male doll collectors, and they're not anything like that stereotype. They're nothing like that. So, I mean, it stereotypes are stereotypes, right? Like, that's why people say they're bad to use stereotypes and base people off stereotypes, because it's not really the case. But that's something that I was internally afraid of at the time, like, but people are really, really nice and open in this community. So being that from Dolphy Dreams, I've been going to these meetups, right, around New Jersey area. I heard that there was a meetup in New York that was actually run by Den of Angels. So this is where it comes to my Den of Angels story here. So I went to the New York meetup, which was way bigger than any meetup I've ever been to in New Jersey. Like, there was, my first meetup probably had maybe 20 people to 25 people. There was a lot of people, and it happened in a big open area. And the only reason why I won't say where that open area is because apparently Den of Angels has like a rule and about the meetings being somewhat private. I'm not gonna say like 100% private. Like, if it's really for members of the Den of Angels community to go, because if you ever go to the Den of Angels website, you can't really see many topics at all unless you become a member. So it's not like it's open. Like, if you go to Doll Dreaming, you can read everything on there, whether you're a member or not, which is nice. But Den of Angels, most of the good stuff, like, that you want to see is locked behind membership. So, and there's no fee to be a member. You just got to sign up and make an account. So it's really, the meetup in New York was for members of that community or friends of, and that was me. I was a friend of somebody in that community at the time because I didn't create an account back then, and they invited me and I went. And when I went to that meetup in New York, it was mainly resin dolls. Almost everyone there had resin dolls of one sort of another, right? And I was the only one for that meetup, at least my very first meetup. I was the only one that brought in Dolphy Dreams and Smart Doll. And I actually brought two of my friends with me to that meet because I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, maybe we should go as a group. So like the three of us went down to this meet, and we were the only ones with anime dolls, like vinyl dolls that showed up to this meet. And I was like, oh, did we go to the wrong meet? And apparently no. Like that's the actual meet. Like it's mainly resin dolls. Now the people there were very welcoming to us anyways. Like a lot of people came by, like there was many tables set up, so you know we had our own table for these anime dolls, and a lot of people came by to ask about our dolls, the vinyl dolls, and because some of them have never seen them before and others were just curious, right? And I'm not going to name names because I don't think that would be appropriate, but there was one individual that I met at this meet, and they were pretty high up in the hierarchy for the Den of Angels community. And I remember talking with them, and they were very, very nice. I'm not trying to speak ill or badly of other people. Like, she was very nice and very welcoming and explained a lot of the rules of the community to me and what they're all about. So I'm not here to talk trash or anything like that, but I do want to make a distinction, is that they informed me that their community was mostly for those in the vinyl hobby, and that the only reason why they have Dolphy Dreams in their community is because they were grandfathered in from Volks, and Volks makes resin dolls, and the whole community that was there is very big on Volks dolls, and other doll companies for resin, but they were very big on Volks. And so Dolphy Dream was accepted based on the fact that it was part of the same company. Now, any other vinyl doll company like A-Zone or Smart Doll are not a part of Den of Angels. Now, I haven't visited them since. Maybe they did add it, maybe not. But they weren't really a part of the vinyl scene other than Dolphy Dreams. And their Dolphy Dreams stuff in their forms is very minute. There's not really much to it. But they definitely made it known that they were mainly a resin community, which is fine. I mean, you like what you like and you do what you do. But that didn't really deter me from going to their meetups because, like I said, a lot of the people there were actually curious about the vinyl dolls and came over to see them, hold them, touch them, all inspect them, all different kinds of things. So, you know, a lot of people, you know, were getting into it. And I remember after going like a couple times, like a lot of the members ended up having their own smart dolls and bringing their own smart dolls to the meet and their own Dolphy Dream dolls to the meet. So, you know, it kind of added that extra community to their resin community at these meetups. I haven't been there in a very long time because one, I've been a lot more busy nowadays with my YouTube channel and public speaking at like panels and convention things like that. But two, coronavirus also like nixed it. I heard that they're back up and running again, so I may go to another New York meet at some point in the future to meet up with friends that are over there. But that's the thing, like even though they are, you know, they were a resin community, like, you know, you just go. You know, just go and see what happens. And look, I have a couple people within that community that ended up buying Smart Dolls and ended up buying Dolphy Dreams. So it is an open community and a very welcoming community for the most part. You know, I'll get to the toxic part like more towards the second half of today's episode. But they are, for the most part, pretty open. And that's why I said in the beginning, I don't want to speak ill or talk trash of any community because, you know, they are primarily a resin community anyways. Like that was their sole focus in the beginning. Let's see. Just checking chat. What did I say? What did you guys say? There are more male vinyl collectors from what I've seen. Our group is pretty mixed with the gender ratio. It's very refreshing to see how many males there are in the group. That's true. There are a lot of males as opposed to female. Now, what the ratio is, I have no idea. But it's not like males are like non-present, so to speak. There's definitely a lot. I would venture to say DD and SMD are primarily designed for a male view. I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know if I could agree with that or not, and mainly because I've heard from other women that the female form, just art. Speaking of art, is is just more better to look at than the male form. But I mean, I guess I could be wrong. This is just things that I've heard, so I don't know if I entirely agree with that. Demi, this. Let's have this, which can be nice as it allows a pass for owning the doll getaway dolls. Shiki Katana, what's wrong with liking dolls and hentai? There's nothing wrong with liking dolls and hentai. I'm just saying that was like the stereotype that only people that liked the dolls and hentai were in this group, and and obviously that is not the case. Jaffred, unfortunately, that stereotype is still present, at least where I live. Yeah, and it really depends on your location. Like if you're in an area that is very conservative, then you may run into that. But if you're in an area that's more like liberal, then you're gonna get a different group of people. Finally, it is actually interesting to see more guy collectors for vinyl dolls compared to resin BJDs. Yeah, I don't know why that is. I actually don't know why there are more in Dolphy Dream and Smart Doll than there is in resin. It may be because of what Tempest said up above, like about like the female form or whatever. I concur. Remove stigma from both. My sister made the requisite quantity of posts in like 3 weeks for marketplace access. They denied her access because she posted too fast. Yeah, that can happen at some forums. Like if you post too much, like you spam post just so that you can like silly things, like if you post like hi, or if you post like that's cool, like, and you just do like a bunch of those all within like 10 minutes, like they kind of flag that as spam. So I don't know if that's what she did, but I know that happens to some people. Demi, yeah, DOA wanted to make sure people aren't bots out there spreading the vinyl love. Yeah, I'm trying, Demi. I much prefer walking around a convention all day with DD or SMD over any of the hefty resins. Yeah, that's another difference too when you walk around conventions, because I don't own any resins as of yet. I'm still waiting for my first one, but I've heard and I've felt other people's resins dolls, and they're way heavier than Dolphy Dreams or Smart Dolls. Way heavier. It's really unfortunate that there's this stigmas about males and dolls and resins versus vinyls, but I think it's that way in many places. I think it is too, and it is unfortunate. Most of my larger dolls are resin, and I feel that many resin collectors are at least somewhat dismissive of SMD. That's another thing. That's somewhat toxic, and I'll get to that in the toxic section when we get to there. I agree, Demi. This is why S&D girls or my custom boy came with me to conventions much lighter. So yeah, like it really depends where you live and the type of people that you may run into that affects what happens when you join the community and the type of people that you meet. But that's really just forums in general, right? Like just regular forums on the website that I wanted to talk about. But there's like the new, I don't know what to call it, like a forum killer. Like there's, aside from like finding information on YouTube, right? The next best thing that a lot of people really flock to for information nowadays is Facebook. And I know someone mentioned it before up in the chat, like prior. Facebook is pretty much nowadays the all information exchange hub. Forums aren't used as much as they used to be, although like I said, Doll Dreaming is still up and running. It's just not as much traffic on there, but forums is where it's at. There's so much discussion on forums. I can't say that enough. When I go and do public speaking at panels in different conventions about these dolls, I always tell people, like, if you want to find like a community, go to Facebook and go to Facebook groups. There's so many Facebook groups, and you can find them based on anything, right? You can find them based on Dolphy Dreams only, Smart Doll only, BJDs only. You can even, fine tune your search to your specific area. Like you could type in Facebook, New Jersey doll groups or East Coast doll groups, and you can get very specific, and there is a group for that. There really is. Wherever it is that you live, there probably is some kind of a group in some way, shape, or form on Facebook, and it has pretty much destroyed like regular forums as I knew it back in the day. Like almost all the information is on Facebook now. Discord is also a new one. Yes, Shiki Katana. Discord is a new place to share information. Although I still think Facebook is more popularly used at the moment. But Discord is like a close second. Like it's growing by leaps and bounds right now at an incredible rate. So that may overtake Facebook at some point in the near future. But right now, Facebook seems to be king. And I want to show you guys an example while I have you here. So let's switch screens again, right? And I'm going to show you guys an example of that. Let's see. Okay, so here we are. We're back on the Doll Dreaming website, right? So if I switch over to my other tab, this is my Facebook for dolls. So I have 2 Facebook accounts, and people get it confused all the time. I have my personal Facebook account for just me and my family and friends, and then I have like my doll Facebook account, which is weird. This is my doll Facebook account, which I created with the intention of all my doll stuff to be here and to join groups here. But I didn't find it easy switching back and forth to 2 different accounts. It was just so difficult switching back and forth, so I kind of like never used it. And you can see at the top of this page, it says this page isn't visible. You can publish it when you're ready for people to see it. I published it a long time ago when I created it, but now it's like seems to be offline. But everybody seems to be sending me friend requests on my personal account, which is fine, but like I'm not really gonna, just letting you guys know, I'm not really gonna accept it because that's my personal account just for friends and family, and like I don't want it to get too mixed up between the doll community and my family. Like, so when I post pictures of my kids or like, you know, my grandparents or stuff, like, I don't know if like I really want to share that out with the entire world. So I have like a couple 100 friend requests that I just never accepted. And I apologize if you're one of them, but that's like my personal account. This one I'm going to try and work on again to make it my, you know, my doll account so I can friend all of you on here. But just to give you an example, like last time I posted was like November 3rd of 2018. I did this post. And I even did November 3rd. Like, sorry, I've been away from this page a while, trying to be more diligent using it. See, like I don't really use it that much. I should get back to using it, but I'm mainly more on YouTube than anything. But if you go on here and you go to Facebook, right? And then we go, oh, hey, my lady Disdain, welcome. Thank you for coming to the live. So if you go on here, right, and you go to your search bar, right, I'm going to type in search anything you want to search. So let's do Dolphy Dream first, right? So we're going to go Dolphy Dream, right? Type in Dolphy Dream. So then here you see groups. It says Dolphy Dream here. I'm part of this group, regular Dolphy Dream. So I'm going to do see all. So hopefully you guys can see it. It's large enough for you to see, I hope. So if you look here, the first one that comes up, Dolphy Dream, I'm actually a member of this group. Look at this, 5.7 thousand members. So 5,000, what's that, 5,700 members are in here. I'm part of this group. This is a really good group of people. I really enjoy this group. So if you're not a part of it, definitely join. This next one, Dolphy Dream Adoption Chat, I'm also a member of there. That's 5,800 members. These are my 2 main groups that I circle back and forth from. They're really good people, and I really like those groups. But look at this. Look at this. If I scroll down, there's so many doll groups, you know, that you could join. There's Dream Life, Dolphy Dream Community, Dolphy Dream Customs. You know, like I wonder, like, how much more further can I do it? Can I do it like, let's say, New Jersey, where I live? Let's see. So for this one, it kind of gives me like the same ones. So, oh, here, look, there's like, oh no, this is a Jersey Shore marketplace, New Jersey events. So sometimes you'll run into things like this. I don't know if they have like a West Coast, maybe there's a West Coast group or something. Again, you'll see like the same ones keep popping up. So here, like right here, there's a West Coast group. Oh no, that's not it. That's not a doll group. But there's like West Coast Toy Haulers, Dream Dolls and Bears. Like a lot of these things will come up. Look at this one, the Smart Doll and Dolphy Dream Buy, Sell, Trade UK Europe. I'm not a member of this group, but it's got 220 members. But it's like I said, there's so many groups that you can look into. And like, let's try Smart Doll, right? Smart Doll. So I'm going to do Smart Doll. Why did it change the view? Go to groups. Okay, so smart doll groups. So then you'll have this one, hashtag smart doll, 907 members. Smart doll Danny Chu Europe, that 598 members. Smart doll Trades and Sales, 2,300 members. This one here, Smart doll Friends, that's the one that I'm personally a member of this group. It's 2.3K members. But this one I'm not a member of, but this is huge. Smart Doll, Dolphy Dream, and Other Vinyl Dolls, 4,000 members. And maybe I should join that one. But look at this, Smart Doll Sewing, Smart Doll Fashionistas, Smart Doll Lovers United. Like, there are so many groups, and most of these people that you'll run into in these groups are very welcoming and very helpful people. Like, it is one of the most accepting and loving communities that I've ever been a part of. And there are a lot of, and like I said, and I've been saying it repeatedly since the beginning of this episode, there are bad apples. There are. But they're so small. Like, there's not that many of them. And the funny thing is that, well, it shouldn't be funny, but the thing is that when something bad does happen, right? It's really like one bad apple will say something that's mean, right? Or something that's not acceptable for the group, let's say. And then the thing that gets crazy is that a lot of these like people that are really nice and open and welcoming, they get angry and then they pounce on that one person, right? But it's interesting to see that sometimes the same people that are welcoming and understanding or whatever can become so mean at the same time. Like, and it's not like it's justified or not justified. Like, somebody did something wrong, you may want to correct them. It doesn't have, you don't have to, it's not your obligation to, but some people feel like they should, especially moderators should, because it's their job to make sure that the group is having an appropriate topic for everybody to share. So the moderators are really the ones that should be getting in there and, working things out when something bad happens. But sometimes people will jump in there and they'll say really mean things. And it's interesting when you think about it that way, because people are very sensitive to their hobbies. You know what I mean? Like, just to bring things back here, like, you'll have the same people who are loving and accepting also be the same people who are very quick to criticize another person in a very harsh way. And that happens. And the one time that it got really bad was in I think it was called, it's the same group I'm a part of, which is Smart Doll Friends, right? But it used to be known as Smart Doll Lovers, right, on Facebook. And it was huge. It was way bigger than Smart Doll Friends. It was almost like 5,000 members or something like that. And I don't want to get too much into it and rehash all the drama, but something bad happened. And people got really nasty to each other, back and forth, back and forth. There were messages going back and forth. And every time a moderator shut it down, somebody started a new chat discussion. And then it just kept carrying on and on and on. And it went on for like weeks of people just being really mean to each other. And eventually Smart Doll Lovers was disbanded. It got taken down because there was just way too much drama going on. And the moderators, or not all of them, but some of the moderators from that group created Smart Doll Friends, and now it's like half the size of what it used to be. And I'm in there because I was invited back or whatever, so I guess I wasn't one of the toxic ones. But I also don't post much on these forums. Like, I don't post a lot because if there's anything I need to say, for the most part, I usually say it on my YouTube channel anyways. But yeah, it can get from really kind and loving to really toxic fast, like from 0 to 100. And it's just because of the passion that's in this hobby for these people. People are so passionate, they love it so much. And for some it's a hobby, for some it's a sense of relaxation, for some it's a coping mechanism. There's a lot of reasons that go into why people love these dolls. And if you step on someone's toes, so to speak, on a certain topic, or if you're just flat out mean, like, because sometimes people are just flat out mean, right? And then other times people step on other people's toes, and they didn't intend to. It was an accident. So you have a lot of different things that happen, and it can lead to some toxicity. It really can. Let me see what else people. I see chat popping off. Let me see. I like the legions and trinities, but I don't think I'd take them out much of all if I had them. Wait, what were you talking about? I feel like waste so much time on Facebook. Are you talking about Facebook, Flav? Let's see. Tempest. Yes, Dalmor. Oh, you're talking about Tempest. About the resin stuff. Okay, I gotcha. No problem. When we immediately started talking about large dolls, I thought of them. Okay. Let's see. Demi says the one I made from her area is Ador. How do you say that? Ador. Adohr. Asian Dolls of Hampton Roads. Okay, so that's down in Virginia. And then I think I put a VA one in tags or something like to make it searchable. So yeah, so if you're in the Virginia area, look at that. Demi created her own group. So if you guys want to do meetups down there and have like a good group like where you live, that could definitely be one. Sensitive is a good word. It is, because people can get sensitive. Like, even if you have the best of intentions, like, sometimes you could accidentally step on someone's toes. And then, they just could be ultra sensitive to that topic, whatever it may be. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, maybe you could say something like, I like cinnamon dolls and not tea dolls, right? And somebody could be like, well, what does that mean? Do you hate tea dolls? Are tea dolls bad? Like some people might get too sensitive in how you word it like that. Like, maybe you could say something like, personally, I prefer cinnamon. That's what I really like. So most of my dolls are cinnamon, and I don't really have any cocoa or tea dolls because it's not really what I'm into. You could say something like that, and maybe that won't, trigger some people, because people are sensitive to certain words. They're like, and that's what they're called. They're called trigger words. There are some words that trigger people, and I'm guilty of it too. Like, I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but there's been times where I've said something and I didn't mean anything by it, but it set off a trigger in another individual, and they, let me know about it. And sometimes people will say it in a nice way, and they'll say, oh, I know you probably didn't mean it this way, but just to let you know, yada, yada, yada. And I'll be like, oh, well, thank you for letting me know. I honestly didn't know, and I feel really bad. Sorry for offending you. But then other people will come at you and say, why'd you say that? That is so mean. What are you, like this? Are you that? Are you that? You know what I mean? Like, some people get really sensitive about their trigger words. And this hobby, like I said, has grown by leaps and bounds within the past couple years only. Like, from 2011 when I started to about 2015, 2016, the hobby was still kind of like in that same lull period. There were people in it, there were people joining, but like at a gradual pace. It wasn't till like maybe 2016, I want to say, which was like the third year after Smart Doll was released, because they released in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Because 2013 was Mirai and Kizuna, and then I think 2014 is when Chitose joined, and then they had other dolls like Kanata. But before Kanata, there was like Twilight, there was Sana, and I think it wasn't until Melody came around, I think it was Melody, that the hobby really started blowing up for Smart Doll, because Melody is one of those fire starter dolls, I think, in Smart Doll, that really lit a fire under people's butts and said, hey, I want to get in on this. And then after Melody, there were other dolls that kind of lit a fire under people's butts. But then after that, when T started coming out as a skin tone, that's when I think Smart Doll took off. It just took off. And then after T, then they had Coco, and it took off even more, and it became so popular. From 2016 till today, it's been growing exponentially, not even at like a small gradual pace, like exponentially every year it's been growing. And with that, right, with that sudden expansion of growth in the hobby, you have a small community starting to become very, very large. And when you you grow that fast, you start getting people in it that not only love the hobby and have learned to love the hobby in a way, if that's the right word. I don't know, learned, but people that are slowly getting into it kind of thing. And then you start getting people that are what I like to call, and I don't know if this is a trigger word or not, but what I like to call like the bandwagoners. Like there are people that join the hobby just because it's popular. Like it's the same thing with sports, right? Like I remember I'm a huge, for baseball, like my hat here, I'm a big Cubs fan. But Cubs haven't won a championship in like 100 years, like from was it like 2017 or something like that. They haven't won it for 100 years, right? And then when they finally won the World Series recently, right? All of a sudden you got a huge influx of Cub fans that claim to be fans from since they were little kids, right? These are the people that I personally like to call like bandwagoners, right? Like something becomes super popular, and because it's popular, they jump in. So you also get those people that are jumping into this hobby now for Dolphy Dreams, Smart Dolls, anime dolls in general. Like you have those individuals also joining in. And with that sudden growth and all these different types of people, and then you have people worldwide. It's not just Japan anymore and a small section of America and a small section of like Europe. Now it's like everywhere. Like I think even though Dolphy Dream has been around the longest, Smart Doll's really what propelled, I believe, this hobby to a worldwide stage. Like you got all countries in Europe and Africa and the Middle East and Asia and the South Pacific and the Western America and North America, South, everywhere. The entire world is blowing up with this hobby now. There's Facebook groups everywhere. There's Instagram everywhere. There's Twitter everywhere. There's YouTube. There's just everything. Discord, and with that huge influx and growth, you're gonna get people of different cultures, different religious backgrounds, different upbringings, different social standings. Like all these different groups are now funneling into this what used to be a small community, and because it's a small community that grew too fast, I feel like people are struggling right now with how to interact with each other, and those people that are been in the hobby for a while, like the old ways, so to speak, are running into the new, and sometimes it's a really good cohesion and people mesh really well and they get along well, and then other times people butt heads, and that's just what's gonna happen. It's natural for something that is so large and so big of a community now for that to happen. And I just want to let people know that that's just a small portion of the community. Like if I were to give a percentage, I would say overwhelmingly, I'd say around 90% of the community is awesome, right? And then you have like a small, maybe 5% of that is like just indifferent. They're just neither here nor there. And then an even smaller percent, like another 5% is the toxicity, right? But all it takes is one loud person, right? One loud person to start a huge conversation or a huge controversy to make it into this big ordeal. Like the loudest speakers tend to be sometimes the more toxic ones, and you could see that in every community. Like it happens in the video game community a lot. Like it's like that small group of elitists, so to speak, that are picking on the larger group of like casuals. And that kind of happens in this community also. Like there are small sects, like sects, like sects, like sects of people that are very exclusive. And I want to talk about exclusivity in a second, but I just want to catch up with chat because there's a lot more people like joining in. Reminds me of the Smart Doll group that disbanded a few years ago. Too many of those people you were talking about. Yeah, I think that was Smart Doll Lovers. It's mostly jealousy, in my opinion, White Rose. Yeah, sometimes it can be. Sometimes it can be jealousy. Yeah, Smart Doll Lovers, too bad they deleted everything, including all the photos I ever had over there. Should have backed up my pics. My Lady Disdain, that was when Appreciation Society started, wasn't it? I think so. I think so, but I'm not entirely sure on that. I could be wrong, but you may be right on that. But yeah, the jealousy thing that White Rose Ichigo brought up, that's actually a good point, because to make another reference or another analogy, it kind of reminds me of when I was growing up, the whole Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis. So for those of you that are younger that don't know about this, it's kind of like the debate between Xbox and PlayStation, right? Like that's like the new thing nowadays. So a lot of kids nowadays, these systems are expensive. PS5 is like $500. Xbox is like $500, and PS5 is even harder to get. It's really hard to get. So imagine these kids, these young kids, they don't have money. Just like when I was growing up, I didn't have money to buy a Super Nintendo. I had to ask my parents, and my parents weren't rich, so they can only buy one, right? So, I had a Super Nintendo. So I was on that camp, So it comes between jealousy because you can't own both, maybe because of your financial issues or for whatever reason. Maybe you can't have both, or maybe you only like the one, right? You just don't like the other one, and that's fine too. But that jealousy between having the two sides, right? Then that leads to the people being, well, I only have a Nintendo, and every Nintendo game I play is just awesome. And I don't know anything about Sega, so, Sega must suck, or something like that. Like sometimes that happens. I'm not saying that's exactly how it came down, but it's because some people were pigeonholed in one group or another for whatever reasons that may be. Then they start to clash, right? On which system is better. And it's the same thing with Smart Doll and Dolphy Dream. I feel like that's happening. Dolphy Dream's been around longer. Smart Doll's the newer kid on the block. But then Smart Doll, some people in the Smart Doll community, especially in the group that was taken down, used to talk a lot of toxicity about Dolphy Dreams. And then Dolphy Dream people used to get mad at all that toxicity, or some people were elitists because they're like, oh, Dolphy Dream came first, and then they clashed with the Smart Doll community. So there was like that's not like something that's huge, but it's something that happened, and it did happen, fairly recently. Like I say, like right before the pandemic. All right, there was things like that happening, and people, they clash because it's a difference of opinions, difference in what you own. But I want to let you guys know that the whole community is not like that. That's just a small percentage of people that really want to voice their opinions. And they really only represent a small portion of the actual community. Because let me tell you, every person that I've met personally, in person, has never had any kind of that animosity towards either doll. They loved both. And I've even met people in the resin community that don't like Smart Dolls, that don't like Dolphy Dreams, but don't admonish them either. They're just like, it's just not my thing. I just really like resin, but I can understand why people like Smart Doll and Dolphy Dreams. Those people exist. Like, so these loud people that you hear, like these loud voices of toxicity, it's actually, don't let it overcome you and be scared of getting into the hobby, because that's really just a small portion of the community that's just being very loud in their voicing of what's going on. Let's see, Derpy, yes, it was made right after, it kind of was. They made Smart Doll Friends. Demi Adore. Faloli, I wish I could find more local communities near me in Pennsylvania. Depending where you live in Pennsylvania, the East Coast Dolphy Dream group, the East Coast Ball Jointed Doll group on Facebook, they're actually in South Jersey, and we have a lot of members from Jersey and Philadelphia area and Delaware that actually attend that meeting. So if you're closer to that end, I don't know if you're out by the Pittsburgh area or Philly area, but you might want to try that group. Let's see, Tempest back. Shameless plug for Ningyo Bingo. Since it doesn't have a Facebook presence, I haven't made a new episode in a while, but plenty of backlog for newcomers. Yes, Tempest, for those of you that don't know in chat, Tempest is the host of, or co-host of Ningyo Bingo, which is a podcast. Definitely check that out. They have some good topics on there regarding resins and vinyls. Fov, so much is just subjective opinion, and I wish people could be more chill with that. That's true. Tempest, Foley, are you close to Philly? Yeah, I'm about 3 hours away. A little bit of ride, but Philly meetups haven't resumed since a lot of the community life changes. Okay, so they're talking about like Philly meetups and stuff. Let's see what else. Derpy, people get triggered over everything. Had someone call me a disgrace because I asked if anyone was selling a Hatsune Miku wig for a cheaper price. They can get very ugly about strange things. That's true too. Selling things secondhand gets a lot of toxicity too. But I think that I don't want to touch upon selling. Third party selling, secondhand selling. That's going to be a whole nother topic for Beyond the Doll that I want to delve into, because that is a huge discussion. But that is definitely something that has a lot of toxicity. You're right about that. Let's see. Talking about meetups. Let's see. If they get sold cheaper, it devalues the scarcity. Everybody devalues their own approach conversation with malice. Yeah, that can happen sometimes too. Yeah. White Rose, I got blocked by someone on IG for giving their SMD unwanted attention. Oh, that's weird. What do you mean unwanted attention? Like you like all their photos? Because I don't mind that. I get people that like a lot of my photos. Like if somebody joins my Instagram account that's new, I usually get like that same person that likes like 30 of my past photos. Like I don't mind that. I don't know why someone would get mad about that. Tempest, a reminder to tap that thumbs up if you like the conversation. Yes, thank you, Tempest. Demi, I just realized that you know me, lol. See, Jared, when I discovered the doll hobby, I thought toxic people were not around this hobby. But the moment I discovered the truth, oh boy, definitely every community has its toxic people. It's true. When I joined the community, there wasn't any toxicity that I saw. But the more you get into the hobby, the more you start participating and contributing, you start seeing things. Like the more you look into Facebook groups and you look every day at the chats, or you look on Instagram all the time with chats and things like that, you'll start to see it starts to come out. It's not something that you kind of see on the surface immediately. Lady Disdain heading out. Okay, good night, my Lady Disdain, thank you for coming. Jaffer, just like console wars, there will be doll wars. No, please, no. Hope this never happens. It has happened. I want to say it's behind us now. But it has happened before the pandemic. There was a little bit of rivalry that went into it. But it was very small at the time, and I think it's almost non-existent now. Falule, some real toxic places are the true BJD confessions on Tumblr. I don't know what that is. I don't go to Tumblr, so that I don't know about. You are the PDB, right? I thought, okay. Shiki Katana, from what I remember, was that people were voicing out about how they were unhappy about the way Smart Doll got sold, quality of some of their stuff, etc. That was definitely part of it. There was a controversy about Danny Chu, about like his repertoire or back and forth with the community regarding his products. That sparked a lot of animosity in the community, and I don't want to take sides, right? I want to remain a neutral party. But I want to say that there are people that were. There was a group of people that was behind Danny Chu, right? And then there's a group of people that were against Danny Chu. And I think that a healthy thing to do is to have a healthy discussion about it. To say things like whether or not you could say, I agree with him, or I don't agree with him. Or I see both sides, I can understand. Things like that. When you voice your opinion in those ways, it kind of goes a little bit easier to help another person understand better. But what was happening with that whole travesty was that people were just outright being mean to one another, and starting attacking one another for defending them. And then in return, the defenders were attacking back in not so nice manner, right? And it got out of control. And I said it before in the last episode of the Doll Symposium, and I think I've mentioned it on the first episode of Beyond the Doll, or in my random live that I did, is that whether you like a company standing or not, whether it's Danny Chu, whether it's Dolphy Dream, whether it's PlayStation or Ford or whatever, right? One thing you have to remember, in a way, is that people, there's the company and the creators, and then there's the consumers. And there's been a long-standing tradition, at least my understanding from America. I don't know how the rest of the world works, but there was always this saying of the customer's always right. And I believe Danny Chu even mentioned it in Japan. There's a saying that the customer is God, right? So whatever the customer says or whatever they voice their opinions, you should do this or you should do that. The company should abide by it. But in all reality, like, I just don't understand, why should they? Let the company fall on its own sword, right? So if a company is making something you don't like, or if a company is doing something that you don't like, instead of attacking them and telling them how they can do better, and I'm not saying you can't do this. I'm not saying you can't do this. You can definitely attack them, tell them to do better, all you want. Like, if that's your prerogative, do it. But I'm just saying that, like, I'm just trying to tell you that the companies will destroy themselves, is what I'm saying. So if he keeps, quote unquote, treating people badly and treating his customers badly, or whatever the accusations are, right? Then eventually people will stop buying for him, right? Because who's going to buy from somebody that's a jerk, right? Like, and who's going to buy a product that they don't like? I came up with this analogy in the Doll Symposium, is that I love ice cream, but I don't like Rocky Road. And I thought about it a little bit later, and I'm thinking, maybe it's better if I say I like ice cream, but I like chocolate, right? But not everybody's chocolate is the same, right? Like, there's Friendlies, there's Breyers, there's Turkey Hill, there's Haagen-Dazs, there's all these companies, and not all their chocolates are the same. Like, some chocolates taste better than others. Some chocolates taste worse. And I will just buy the one that I like, right? Like, if I like Turkey Hill chocolate, I'm going to buy Turkey Hill chocolate. I'm not going to write a nasty letter to Breyers and say, hey, your chocolate sucks. You should make it like Turkey Hill. No, I'm just going to buy Turkey Hill chocolate. It's the same thing with dolls, right? If you like ball jointed dolls, you like anime dolls, you have Smart Dolls, you have Dolphy Dreams, you have Obitsu, you have A-Zone, which A-Zone and Obitsu are kind of the same, but they do sell separately sometimes. You have Pull-Ups, you have, you have, wow, I can't remember the other name. What is the other name that's like Pull-Ups? Somebody help me in chat. It's the other one that's like Pull-Ups. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank now. But like, you have all these different doll companies that make anime type dolls. Just buy the one that you like then. And if it turns out that the one that you like is Smart Doll, but the creator is doing something you don't like, you know what I mean? Like, they're against Blythe. That's the name. Thank you, Derpy. They're like, if the company is like pro hurting the ecosystem, like pro gasoline, and another company is like pro electric, you know what I mean? Like, people will just naturally, go to the ones that they don't like or like based upon that, And if you don't like the way Danny runs his company, right, then don't buy his product. And it's unfortunate because you like Smart Dolls, but you just don't like the creator. But at what point do you decide on what to do, right? Do you like his product so much that you force the creator then to change his philosophy and force the creator to change his company the way he wants to run it? I mean, that's mostly why people create their own businesses, right? Instead of working for Kenner, instead of working for Microsoft. Maybe they don't like working for those companies because they treat their employees badly. And this individual thinks, hey, I can do better, or something like that. They have their own version in their head of what a company should be. And that's why people make their own private business and start their own companies. So Danny made his own company, and he wants to run it his way. He wants to hire his people. He wants to have his philosophy of making dolls. And that's what he's going to do, regardless of what people say. And sometimes people cave under that pressure, like the creators. They'll see all these people going, you're bad. And they're like, oh no, don't call me bad. I'll change. But then in doing so, they change their core beliefs, right, on what they think a doll company should be. Now, whether a doll company should be this or that is subjective, right? Like maybe you think a doll company should be this, but that's your opinion, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that's everyone's opinion. So at what point do you draw the line is what I'm saying. At what point do you draw the line and say, "Hey, we have to make him change his philosophy and his business strategy to what we like?" Or do you just put your foot down and say, "You know what, I really like Smart Doll, but I don't like the creator or his philosophy, so I'm just going to take my business somewhere else." And if enough people take their business somewhere else, he's going to lose money. And now he has to make a decision, right? Danny has to make a decision. Well, do I want to keep losing money and then Smart Doll goes bankrupt because people just don't like me as a person? Or should I change? And that's a decision he has to make on his end. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't understand why people always complain to Danny about his business practices or his dolls. I just think if you don't like it, just don't buy it. I think that's the best way to show your protest is just don't buy the product, right? But that's me. That's my opinion. Doesn't mean you have to believe in it. It doesn't mean you have to follow it. But that's the great thing about our world, right? Like freedom of speech, at least for America. I don't know how openly freedom of speech is anywhere else in the world. But here in America, we have a freedom of speech where we're allowed to, we should say what we mean. We should say what we want. But it doesn't mean you have to follow what everybody says on the internet, because not everybody's right and not everybody aligns with what your feelings may be. So you as a viewer right now, you could be totally 100% disagreeing with what I'm saying right now. And that's fine. That's totally fine. If you disagree with me, I'm okay with that. That's fine because I respect your opinion. If you think that I'm wrong and you think that whatever it is that you feel is better that you should follow, then definitely follow your own path. You know what I mean? Do what you believe is right. But if we just so happen to align, like if you are feeling the same way I feel, then hey, cool, then we can discuss more, we can talk more. Or even if you don't feel the same way I am, but you're open-minded and you're willing to hear the other side of it, then great, let's have a conversation so you can better understand my point of view and I can better understand yours. That's all I got to say about that. I know we went a long time on that discussion, but but that's the root of toxicity, right? Like when people have toxicity out there, it's a difference of opinion. And some people will be open-minded to it, and some people will be closed-minded and doesn't want to hear the other side because they think their side is right and everybody should follow their way. I think the best and the most healthy communication is people that are willing to talk to each other even though your opinions differ, so that this way we can open our minds to different experiences and both sides, and maybe we will come to a mutual understanding after having understood each other. You know what I mean? But that's just me. Let me see. We have a lot of chat going on here. Okay. Where did I leave off? Let's see. Oh my gosh. You guys are really chatting up today. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Okay, so here we go. Okay, so White Rose says, I don't know either, but I just liked their character they made with a Smart Doll Lelouch, and they blocked me. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's see, Tempest, I'm the worst at names, but I remember now. Our dolls hung out together. Oh, they're talking about meeting up with each other. Let's see, Tempest, an example, see comments on the last Shizu video regarding Danny and customer service. Yeah, Tempest and I had a good conversation on that in the comment section. Let's see, Derby. Yeah, thank you for telling Blythe because I couldn't remember that name. Jaffred, I was thinking Angel Philly, but I'm not sure it's part of Obitsu. No, Angel Philly, I think, is another company. And speaking of other companies, there's also the new one, Adika Doll, that has the seamless body. That's actually another company. They don't. I don't think they make their own 100% dolls. It's just bodies right now, I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but but there's all different companies that you could buy from. There's different options out there now. It definitely isn't like before, where it was Dolphy Dream or bust. There was nothing else, and then it was Dolphy Dream in the A Zone, and there's nothing else. But now there's like Dolphy Dream, A Zone, Smart Doll, Angelphilia, Adika Doll, like, and I believe there's probably other companies just waiting in the wing to release at some point. Who knows? Let's see. I vote with my wallet and buy what I want, but the complaining has made it more difficult to buy some SMD products too. Yeah, just try not to let the toxicity guide your decision making. You just look at the products, and if you like the products, buy them. But if what you're seeing is something that you don't want to be associated with whatever kind of behavior, then that's just a personal decision you have to make on your own if you want to continue to buy or not. Leonavis, Danny should just focus on the design and creation part and leave the business part to others. Yes and no. I think that is a good discussion for a yes and no discussion, and let me say why. So the reason why I say yes and no is because when a company gets really big, like Microsoft, it gets too difficult, right? With a company that big, to handle every single facet of the company. That's why you have the CEO at top, and then below him you have his sub-directors. Like there's a marketing director, there's a product director, there's a research and development director, and then below them are people that work for them, and then everything trickles up to the big boss to make a decision at the end. But then the big boss is not the one that gets on camera, and talks to people or makes statements. They have a PR department that does that, right? So yes, companies that big, I think that definitely is definitely the way to go, because you can't possibly see every facet of the company and every ongoings of the company when it's just that large. But for something with SmartDoll, I feel for what Danny Chu is doing, even though he's selling a lot of product lately, because SmartDoll is blowing up in popularity. You have to remember the company itself is rather small. He has a team of maybe, I think, 30 people total at most. Maybe. It could be smaller than that, right? And, he has his research and development people that create the clothing and design the clothing. He has his people that do the slush cast molding. He has his people that do the technical stuff of drawing the 3D printing and all that. Then he has it, but I think he mostly, as the face of SmartDoll, he handles his everyday day-to-day thing, because it's more manageable in a smaller size, right? I know that people have made the arguments, why doesn't Danny just get a PR guy, right? Like somebody that will speak on his behalf, that knows how to handle public relations and things like that. And he could go that route. That's totally true. I mean, even if you're in a small company, you could always hire a PR person. It's not like you can't do that. But I think for his personal company and for his vision, at least, I think Danny really wanted to be a small business where he runs it the way he wants it. Because if you look at Danny's history, he's worked for big Fortune 500 companies before. He's worked for Amazon. He's worked for Microsoft. He's, these big tech companies he's worked for. And I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I think he's understood, to his point of view, what it's like for it to be in a big company. And in his point of view, in his mind and his experience, he must have thought that he wants to do his own thing, that he didn't want to follow into somebody else's idea of what a business should be, right? So he created his own business with a goal of, at least in the beginning, I don't think he ever imagined SmartDoll would be this big and this popular. I really don't. And if he did, well, then I just misjudged. But I don't think he thought it was going to get as big as it was. And I believe that he thought that it was always going to be a small company, his small group of friends, which has pretty much become a family to him. His workers is like his family. You see those pictures of them going on vacations together. You don't see that with Elon Musk, right? You don't see pictures of Elon Musk going to like Japan or something with like 5,000 of his employees. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even see that in small companies that I've been a part of. Like, small companies I've been a part of, I've never seen the employees go out on vacations with the owner. Never seen that before. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying I personally have never seen it. And the only time I've personally seen it was through SmartDoll. So I really feel like his workers is his family. Like, his company is his life, and he controls every facet of it. Now, whether you agree with that or not is your opinion, and you are allowed to voice your opinion and state your opinion, and that's why we're talking about it now and having a conversation about it now, and I don't disagree with you that that some companies should leave certain aspects of the company to certain departments or certain people to handle. That definitely works in a lot of businesses. It definitely works. But I personally believe, and Danny Chu hasn't told me any of this, so don't go sending messages to Danny saying that, like, oh, I didn't know that you do this. No, because I heard from Shizusan. No. This is all my speculation. It's all my speculation. Danny said nothing to me, okay? I just believe that he's keeping things close and small knit. And I personally don't think he's ever going to grow his company, even if it has the potential to. I don't think he's going to grow his company to the likes of, like, Microsoft or Best Buy or something like that, where it's huge. I think his intentions are always to keep it small, a small family company. I believe that's what his intentions are, but I could be wrong. And in doing so, he wants to make sure that his dream, his vision for a company is run the way he wants it to be run, based off of his ideals. And you know what? Running a company like that is not going to jive with everybody, because not everybody in the entire world has the same ideals as you. Like, if I were to start my own company, I am 100% sure that every decision I make is not going to be cool with a lot of people. But what does that mean? Like, I guess if I want to flourish and become a Fortune 500 company, maybe I should pander to some of the voices out there so that I can get their money and take their money and get richer and richer, whatever. But I mean, Danny said it many a times, and whether or not you believe him or not, but he has said it many a times that he's not in it for the money. He's just in it for the creativity and for the love of the hobby. And even though that's how it started and how it began, I feel like that's still the way it is, and I feel like that's still the way he wants to run the company. Now, if you disagree with that, that's fine. You are 100% allowed to voice your opinion and believe what you want to believe, but that's just what I believe is happening, and take it for what you will. I mean, I'm just one guy with a camera. Like what I say is not going to dictate anything going on in the world. Like, I'm just a simple guy with a camera that just loves this hobby and likes to talk about it. I could be 100% wrong in everything I say every time I get in front of this camera. That could be true. That could be entirely true. And I hope it's true to some extent, right? Because I don't want to be right all the time. I don't want people to really hang off of and follow everything that I say, because that would be really weird. Like, I don't see myself as like some kind of like authority on smart dolls or Dolphy dreams. Like, I still see myself as the same guy I was when I started this hobby, just some dude that loves this hobby and wants to share everything I like about it with all of you out there, whoever wants to listen to it. So take it for what you will, but just if you take one thing from this conversation, it's just try your best to be nice to one another and to be open-minded, and at least try to hear the other person out if somebody doesn't have the same opinion as you or doesn't agree with you. Just try, at least. If you never try, then that's unfortunate. But at least if you tried and it still didn't work out, you can at least say, hey, I tried. Right? I tried. At least you could say that, at the very least. But, I'm just a guy with a camera. Let's see what else is going on. Shiki Katana, not being banned by the doll creator from buying his stuff because he doesn't like what you posted about him would be good. Yeah, that's happened. People have voiced their opinions about Danny, saying that, like, oh, I don't like your doll, or I don't like your business practices. And it's true, he has banned those people. That is 100% true. He has banned those people, or individuals that has bought products from him that complained about the product, that it's not what they were told it was going to be. And they publicly shame him on forums or Instagram posts or whatever. Yes, he has banned those people. Whether or not I agree with that is irrelevant. I mean, it's Danny's company, right? He can run it however he wants. It's his company. He can do what he wants. And whether or not that's good or bad is ultimately in his corner. Like, it's his company to lose. It's his business to lose, right? And you are open to your own opinion, and that is why you're allowed to post on Twitter, on Facebook, on forums, and everywhere to voice your opinion. On YouTube, you can voice your opinion as much as you want. It's his choice whether or not to ban you, right? And does it suck? Yes, it does suck. Because maybe you were just on an off day that day. You know what I mean? Like, you were just really mad. Maybe, like, your dog died and your mom died and you lost your house, and then you got this doll that wasn't what you thought it was, and you were just so angry that you just blew up, and then he banned you, right? But in reality, you're really not that angry, right? Like, in reality, you really weren't that angry. It was just a whole, like domino effect of events that led you to that. Maybe that's what happened, and then you got banned. Yeah, that sucks. Like, that could be one instance where it happened and it sucks. And I don't know if he ever unbans people. I don't know if he ever unbans people. I have no idea. But I do feel like even if people are being mean to you and saying bad things about you, if they want to keep wasting their money, then let them. You don't necessarily have to ban them. For example, like, I'm going back to the ice cream example again. I don't like Rocky Road ice cream. That's a personal preference of mine. I just don't like Rocky Road. Okay, that's just my thing. You might like Rocky Road, but I don't like Rocky Road. So because I don't like Rocky Road, I never buy it. Why am I going to keep buying Rocky Road ice cream every time I go to the store, take one bite out and be like, I hate this, and throw it out and waste my money, right? So it leads me back to that argument. Like, that's how I feel about it, at least. If I'm totally wrong, let me know in the comments or in chat. Just let me know if I'm wrong. Like, if you say you got the doll that you didn't want, right? And it was what's the word? It was misrepresented, right? Like, it has a blemish or it has a wabi-sabi. I didn't know about wabi-sabi when I purchased the doll. I thought it was going to be a perfectly symmetrical made doll. And I didn't know it's going to have, like, uneven legs or something like that because of his wabi-sabi, right? Or I didn't know that the leather was going to crack or have wrinkles, or the left shoe is not going to be the same as the right shoe because of this wabi-sabi, right? Like, if you say, I didn't know that, right? And then he bans you from buying. What's the big deal? You don't like it anyways, right? Like, you hate the shoes because the leather's not the same. You don't like it because one sleeve of the arm is longer than the other, or the stitching wasn't right, or you don't like it because Smart Doll has blemishes, or because Smart Doll has, like, a loose neck or something like that. You don't like that, right? So then why would it bother you that you're banned then? You know what I mean? Like, I would think that you're not going to buy it anymore. Like, I'm going back to ice cream again. I don't know why I love this ice cream topic, but, like, me personally, I don't mind Wegmans ice cream. So for those of you around the world that doesn't know what Wegmans is, it's basically just a grocery store brand. It's not a name brand like Haagen-Dazs or something like that. It's just a grocery store brand. I like Wegmans chocolate ice cream. That's what I like. That's just me, right? My wife recently bought another chocolate ice cream that was on sale, because prices of any kind of groceries right now is going crazy expensive. So my wife found one on sale for like $1.50 or something like that, which is cheap, right, nowadays, right, for a gallon, right? So she got it for $1.50, and I ate it, and it tasted gross. I'm not gonna name the brand because I don't want to brand shame, but the one that she bought I really didn't like. So I told her, I said, don't buy that one anymore. It tastes gross. I really don't like it. Like, I'll finish it because I don't want to waste food. I'll finish it, but don't buy that ice cream anymore. I'll stick with my Wegmans ice cream, which, by the way, Wegmans ice cream used to be $1.99. Now it's $3.50. $3.50. Like, prices have gone up, so I might have to look into another brand for the time being. But it's the same thing, right? Like, if you buy a doll and it's not and you don't like it, fine, voice your opinion. This doll sucks because of X, Y, and Z reasons. I'm never gonna buy this again. And then Danny bans you, right? Why are you mad? You just said you're never gonna buy it again, or you hate the creator, so I don't want to buy his products because the creator's a jerk, or something like that, right? So he bans you. What's the big deal? You're not gonna buy his products anymore. You don't like the dolls because they're not the same, and they're all like made differently, and they have blemishes and things like that. So if you get banned, what's the big deal? You're not gonna buy it anymore, right? That's what I'm assuming. I mean, I'm not going to buy that ice cream brand my wife bought anymore. No, sorry. I'm not buying it anymore because I don't like it. It's gross. It just turned me off to that brand of ice cream. And that's just me. But that's my personal opinion. That's how I feel about this subject. You may have a difference in opinion, and that's okay. I'm reading chat. Voice that opinion in chat. We'll have a discussion about it. Or if you're watching this at a later date, put it in the comment section down below. Let's talk about it. You know? Let's talk about it. Let's not be mean, though, to each other. Let's have an open conversation, please. And that's why I said at the very beginning of this video, I was like, this could be a really bad video, and people could hate me now because it's a very sensitive topic. But let's see. What else is people saying in chat? Let's find out. Shiki Katana. There's also custom face-ups by artists that bring more people into the hobby. Some join the hobby because of they're able to get their waifu in 1/3 and 1/4 scale form. Yes, that's true. Like, there may be people that are getting into the hobby and they're like, I don't want to buy any of these dolls because none of them represent the character I like. Well, if you do enough research, I guess, as a new person, you find out that, hey, there are things called face-ups, right? So you can actually buy a doll that you may not like, but has the right face shape, and then hire a face-up artist to create the character you like. And then those people are getting into the hobby. So that's, yeah, you're right. That's another way people get in. Jaffred, yeah, Adika doll makes bodies for Dolphy Dreams, and I think they're developing pegs and something like optional inner parts to adapt smart dolls to those. Are they? I'm not entirely sure because I'm brand new to a Dika doll too. I know Demi knows a lot about them, but I thought a Dika doll was made to mimic Smart Doll, and then Dolphy Dream was the one that they're trying to make adaptations for it to fit with Dolphy Dream. I could be wrong. Correct me please in the chat if I'm wrong on that. But I thought they started with the Smart Doll kind of look, but let me know. Leon Avis, he keeps coming up with designs that gets into his prototypes garage, which he then tries to sell for obscene amounts of money. So he does. So he as a creator, right? And I'm not speaking for Danny Chu, but this is what I believe may have happened, right? So as a creator, you have an idea of a doll that you want to make. So you make a doll, and then you're like, this didn't really look the way I wanted it to look. So you put it aside, and you make another doll. And you're like, this one looks better, but it doesn't quite have the look I want. So you go through that iteration over and over and over again until you find the right way you want to make your doll, right? So what he decided to do, right, was instead of having all these prototypes like clogging up space, he decided to sell them. Now, as for price, like I know that's what you were saying, it's an obscene amount of money. As for price, whether or not you think it's obscene is possibly subjective. It might be, okay? It might be. So hear me out, right? I don't know how much it costs to research and develop a doll. I don't, because I'm not in the doll business. I don't know. So I don't know how many machines he has, right? Like how many 3D printers he has. to make prototypes. I don't know how much the program he pays to make these prototypes cost. The program could be $2. It could be $1,000. I have no idea how much it costs. It could have a subscription like Adobe. Adobe, you can't, or not Adobe, Microsoft Word. You can't buy Microsoft Word like you used to. Now it's a subscription, right? So I don't know if his program is a subscription. Then you got to think about the amount that he pays people to help him do it, right? That cost. Then the filament cost, the power cost, the cost of the store, the cost of the air conditioning in the store, the cost of the chairs, the desks, the tables. It goes on and on and on and on, right? So let's say they put 100 man hours into one doll to create one doll. And then at the end of creating it, they're like, that's not really the one for me. It's kind of like working on a car, right? Like when you take your car to get serviced, they charge you labor hours, right? So when you do all these labor hours to create something, that has a cost associated to it. And then you toss it off to the side because it wasn't what you wanted, right? So you toss it off to the side. Then you make another one. It wasn't what you wanted. So you toss that off to the side. And then you make another one. Let's say you put like 5,000 hours into making it. And after 5,000 hours, you finally got the doll the way you want the doll. Like it's finally done. Perfect, right? Finally get to that point. 5,000 hours later. So then you start selling the doll. And then you start making your money from that one doll, the profits. Now, do those profits equal that $5,000 worth of research and development? I don't know. I don't know because I'm not Danny Chu. I don't see his income. I don't see the profits he's making. I have no idea. But I'm just saying that does it equal that? Maybe it hasn't reached that point to cover the amount of research and development time and money that was put into it. So maybe it does though. Maybe it already covered that and then more. And then everything afterwards is all 100% profit. I don't know. I have no access to Danny Chu's income books. Like I have no idea. But what I'm saying is that when you go into selling these things that are collecting dust in his store, right? They're not being used. They're not being sold. They're just creating more space that he could use to put more dolls that he's about to sell, like to store more storage for dolls, right? So instead, he's like, I'll sell these. Then it comes to the point of, well, then how much should I sell them for, right? He's thinking, how much should I sell these things for? I don't really want to give them away for free because we spent so many man hours trying to do it and we spent so much money and materials trying to make it. I want to at least cover cost, right? Maybe he thinks I want to cover cost, right, on research and development. So maybe for this one particular head, he put in X amount of dollars for to research and develop it. And maybe that's the price that you're seeing. Maybe he just wants to break even. Maybe. I'm just saying maybe. Maybe he wants to break even. So some of those prototypes, I've seen them. They go for like $2,000, $3,000. Maybe that's how much it cost in research and development and materials to make that one prototype that ultimately got tossed off to the side and never used. So instead, he wants to break even. So he sells it for that price. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, you could be right. Maybe he's just being greedy and maybe it cost him $100 to make and he's selling it for $2,000 just to make a huge profit because there's only one of it and it's rare, so to speak. You could be 100% right about that too, right? Both sides are viable, right? It could happen. But I would personally like to believe that it's the former, right? That you're really, what you're paying for these prototype dolls is he's just trying to break even on research development cost and labor cost. That's what I think the cost is. Can I be 100% wrong on that? Absolutely. I could be 100% wrong on that. But that's what I believe it may be. So are they really expensive? Yes, you're absolutely right. They are really expensive. But I think that the reason for its expensiveness may be trying to cut even his labor costs. That's what I think it is. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But that's what I like to believe, and that's what I think it may be. But only really Danny Chu himself would know. He's the only one would really know, how much profit he's making from that or not. But yeah, it's not for everybody. But the funny thing is, what I think is really funny is that even though these prototypes in the prototype garage are so expensive, they sell out like that. Like the minute they're posted, they're sold automatically. Like I have never seen them stay on longer than maybe an hour. Every time they go up, somebody buys them. And one of the things in business, and I'm not a business major, but this is what I've heard from another person in business. One of the things I've heard in business is that, if you sell something for a certain amount and it's too expensive and nobody buys it, you may want to lower the cost. But if you sell something for a certain amount and people don't even hesitate to buy it, then you're going to continue to sell it for that amount or even more because it's so in demand. So who knows? Only Danny Chu really knows. We all we can do from the outside is speculate. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Okay, Tempest Strife. Oh, we're on the same subject. Okay. SB Writer, people have a right to complain and people have the right not to not listen. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. You have the right to complain all you want. And then other people have the right to listen to your complaints or not. They don't have to necessarily listen to you, so to speak, I guess. Unless it's, I don't know. Maybe I need to take that back because I don't know. Like maybe it's like a hot button topic. You know what I mean? Like what if somebody, and I know I'm going way off tangent. What if somebody were to say, I love killing people. All I want to do is kill people, kill, right? Like, maybe in that certain situation, people will have to listen because if people don't listen to that guy and they just let him run loose, there may be a lot of deaths going on. So like sometimes in certain situations, maybe you do have to listen. But for the most part, you can at least as an individual, you can choose to listen or to not listen. Let's put it that way. How about that? Let's see. Tempest, as a counterpoint for high-cost items that are purchased sight unseen, isn't it important to have published information that may make other buyers wary if they have similar opinions? That's true. It could happen. There are some companies that are like that are open books, and they will share, their costs and everything. Like, for example, and I've said this before on my channel, if I were to open my own little shop, like an Etsy shop or something where I sell, little knickknacks like a coffee mug or, stickers or, keychain or something like that. I've always said it on my channel, if I were to take that route, I will let people know, how much they cost and how much of that money is going to me. And all that money is going to be going to the channel because I have a good job that's able to pay for myself and my family and provide food on the table. So I don't need your money to support my way of living. If I were to sell goods, it would solely be to pay for the payments I make on this channel, which is a whole nother thing. Like I spend over $100 a month just to run this channel. So like, and I don't ask for people to pay to help me out. I'm just saying if I were to sell things, the profits that come from that, whatever small amount of profits that they may be, will go to help paying for the channel itself. But not every company is like that. Like you can't see the books open publicly for a lot of companies. Like I don't think Apple discloses all their stuff that they make or Tesla does. I could be wrong, but I don't think they do. Let's see. Shiki Katana. Ice cream is always good any time of the day. I'm just opening up topics for discussion, not that I got banned by him. Tempest. Before Danny puts disclaimers out, published reviews within communities were the only spot to publish the... Wait. Published reviews within communities were the only spot to publish these reviews. Yeah, like YouTube. Like I did a lot of reviews on dolls. Like YouTube, forums, you could, post on there whether or not you like things. That's a good resource. Demi, it's both. I have one DD and one SMD Adika doll body. Oh, okay, so they do both. I didn't know that. I thought it started with Smart Doll kind of thing. So that's good to know. Tempest, but yeah, if you hate the service and don't want to buy from them again, how would a ban affect that customer personally? You're true. If they truly hate the service and would never buy them again, it really wouldn't affect them at all. But I guess maybe he said it out loud so that people will hear. maybe as like a cautionary tale or a threat. I don't know because I'm not Danny Chu. It could have been a threat, who knows, or it could have just been a word of warning to everybody else, who knows. But you're right. It wouldn't, if that person truly did not want to ever buy from Smart Doll again, a ban is not going to affect them. You're right about that. Demi, it comes with parts for both bodies to use in each other company's arms. Oh, okay, cool. That's good to know. See, I told you guys Demi would know. Demi knows about Adiga dolls. She's the one that turned me on to them. After all the Smart Doll bodies sell, they won't be making more for all the reasons they've talked about with picky side of the SMD community. Oh, really? They're not making any more? That's unfortunate. I was hoping I to get one at some point. I just don't have the funds to get one, but it did look interesting. Dobie also subscription. Yes, Dobie has a subscription now that you mention it. Yes, you're right. Demi, they will continue to make the DD bodies. Oh, so I can get a Dolphy Dream one. Okay. Tempest right by. I need an SMD replacement spine and foot frame. I'll have to check and see what's left. Yeah, you never know. Maybe Utter Chaos or people that bought into Utter Chaos, like My Lady Disdain or Magical Girl Kit Kat. Maybe they have extras you could buy from them. Cost and labor. Yeah, cost and labor. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, like Prototype Garage, yeah, cost and labor. Let's see. Fov says, I think Danny does a decent job of disclosing the potential flaws now. I'm pretty sure his company is more a break-even enterprise and his investments are his actual income. I think so too. I really believe that's probably what it is. And you're right about the potential flaws. Like in the beginning of Smart Doll, he didn't really mention like the whole wabi sabi thing that much. He kind of marketed it as like your Smart Doll having like a birthmark, like those little blemishes. But definitely 100% now he makes it clear. Like it's everywhere. It's in all his posts, all his product descriptions. Even when you want to check out, it has that whole blurb. So it's everywhere now. Tempest, I think $1,000 to $1,500 would be reasonable for scarcity and labor and materials for the individual doll. Not for the R&D that led to that doll, perhaps. Yeah, that's a good point, too. That's also a good point, too. That could be very valid. I'm kind of mad I didn't jump on the clear frame. Oh, yeah, those prototype things or those chaos things, they're just so rare because they're like mostly one-offs, right? So when he did the clear, when he did the Cortex, if I knew that Cortex was going to die, I should have bought more. But I just didn't have the funds at the time because I was trying to balance buying Smart Dolls and Dolphy Dreams that I liked at the time and getting clothes, which is also very expensive. So like I didn't have money, but I should have bought more Cortexes. I really am sad I didn't get a chance to buy more Cortexes. Shiki Katana. Some of the prototype stuff are being sold in like a Dutch auction style. Most of the time the price barely goes down and immediately gets snatched by a few collectors. Yeah, I think, isn't there one lady, I think there's one lady, and I believe she posted it somewhere on some forums or something, where she has like 12 of the prototypes. Like there's like this one person that has like a whole bunch of the prototypes from the Prototype Garage. I don't know how she got them all, but there's someone that like buys a lot, and there's some collectors that just want that one-off doll, and they just go searching for that, and that's the only one they buy. So who knows? Hold on. I made tea and I never drank it. I've been talking so much. Hold on. Oh my goodness. That felt good. Okay. So, let's see. Where are we at? Tempest. I remember some vinyl molds being sold there. Where? On Prototype? Yeah. On the Prototype Garage, there were some vinyl casting like mold things that were being sold. But that was like really early on. I don't think he's done it recently. Sight unseen refers to digital sales versus in-person sales. Oh, I see. Okay. I think I still stand on the same point. I don't know if a lot of companies actually participate in sight unseen. But they may. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not really a whole business person, so I don't really go and look at that stuff, so I could be wrong. Shiki Katana, the inside joke is that she's Jeff Bezos' daughter. Really? I mean, I mean, anything is possible, right? Like, you never know. Like, not everybody uses their real name on the internet. Like, you know what I mean? Some people use aliases. Like, I use Shizusan, but everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people know my name is Jeffrey because if you look at my Twitter or my Instagram, it has my real name on there. But, you know, I go by the moniker online of Shizusan, but, you know, I mean, who knows? It could be Jeff Bezos' daughter. I don't know. Demi, she's a high-level tech specialist and saves money to the side for the drops. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it could be that too. I don't know the person personally. I just know that there is a person out there that owns a lot of the prototypes. I think she may be actually the same person that has the Centaur also. So, I mean, buku for her for having the money to afford it, because those things are expensive. Tempest, GG to that girl with the prototypes. Also, maybe they invested in plastics or something. You guys are making me laugh. Like, all these theories on this one person that has a whole bunch of prototypes. You never know. You never know. Because, fun little tidbit. Maybe you guys don't know about this. But before Danny Chu started his company as Smart Doll, he was actually a very huge collector of Dolphy Dreams. And I think I asked him once, I think his favorite doll to this day, aside from Mirai, because that was his very first creation, aside from Mirai, his favorite doll till this day for both him and his wife is Saber. The Dolphy Dream Saber, the original Saber. Because before he created Smart Doll, wherever he went, anywhere he traveled to, even when he had interviews or whatever, and his old show Culture Japan, Culture Japan was actually a TV show before it became the name of his company. He brought Saber Dolphy Dream everywhere he went. Everywhere he went, she went with him. And I remember watching the Culture Japan TV show, and when he would do interviews with people in his studio, you would see, and I'm not kidding, if I can find the video, I'll put it in comments. You could see in his studio behind him, like, here's the interviewee next to him, and then here's Danny Chu, right? All around in a half circle shape behind him is like, I don't know, maybe 50 Dolphy Dream dolls, and they're all anime collaborated dolls. I think he almost had like every single one of them, and they were all lined up behind him, all these dolls from Dolphy Dream. And he was interviewing the voice actress of my favorite character, I think Ritsu from K-On! The voice actor for Ritsu in K-On! He was interviewing her, and she was saying how she thought the dolls were beautiful. And so Danny picked up his Ritsu doll that was on one of the stands behind him, and he gifted it to her. He's like, here, have this. You can have this. And obviously, the whole formality thing, she was like, no, I don't want to. No, it's too expensive. And he's like, no, you should have it. Like, he used to be a huge collector of Dolphy Dreams. And that's what got him into the hobby. He fell in love with the hobby because of Dolphy Dreams. And then he just decided that he wanted to make his own doll company and make his own dolls the way he wanted it. Because there were some things about Dolphy Dream that he didn't like design aspect wise. And he wanted to make his own doll, and then Smart Doll became the thing. That's a really very short rundown version of it, but there's more that goes into that story. Let's see. Demi, yep, she has the Centaur. See, I knew it. She has the Centaur. I knew that lady has all the prototypes, man. Tempest. I wonder how I would have fared in technology. I don't know. I think about that every day. I should have been in IT somewhere. You know where it is? If you're a young person watching this right now and you're thinking about what to do in college, information technology and security. That's like the big thing right now, because everything is on the internet now. Everything is on the internet, like phones, apps, like shopping, computers, like everything, even cars. Everything is digital and has to use a computer. And what is the most important thing with all that stuff is protection, security. Go into internet cybersecurity. It's huge right now. Like, people are making buku dollars on how to protect like your personal information and company's information, all this other kind of stuff. Let's see. Demi says, I don't remember the dolls lined up, but I do remember his figure collection all lined up. Yeah, he had that too. He it's two separate things, right? So he has his own personal studio in his apartment with has all his figures lined up everywhere, all his figures lined up. And he would just do his one-on-one talks. Sometimes he does interviews in there. But when he did his Culture Japan show where he travels around Japan seeing different things, whenever he would do interviews on that show in his studio, which is not the same place that he does his Smart Doll stuff now. But that was like a broadcasting company studio, but he had dolls all lined up. It was crazy. I think it was like it was the episode 4, I want to say, but I could be wrong. But yeah, he had like dolls, like all the dolls there. It was crazy. Let's see, Tempest. I also remember figures and like 3 to 5 songs. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Jaffred, I heard Danny Chu sold all his Dolphy dreams because he had a problem with Volks. Is this true? Okay. This is where it gets weird, Jaffred. So, I had the opportunity, and I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to interview Danny Chu a number of times. And then after the interview, I was also very lucky to be able to have a one-on-one with him, like a personal discussion. So I don't know if he would be okay with me divulging this information. So I'm not going to say it because I don't want to breach his personal, what he was telling me as a personal, confidential information. So I don't want to say that stuff. But I will say I don't know whether or not he sold all his Dolphy dreams, his whole collection. I don't know if he did or not. I have no idea. I do know that he still has his saber because he did mention to me he still has his saber. Now, the whole thing with Volks, there was... I'm not going to say an incident. There was something between them, okay? But I won't say what it is because it's not my place to say. I believe that was kind of told to me in confidence, so I don't want to breach that confidence that he put on me to tell me personal information. So, but there was something there, but I don't want to say really what it is. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, okay? So don't automatically jump on the thing saying that, oh, he had a bad relation with Volks. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that him and Volks did have a meeting once. They had like a get together or something like that. And whether or not that became fruitful or not, I don't know. But or rather, I won't say. But you could leave it up to your own imagination. But he did have something with them. Let's just put it that way. Demi, or the opposite, learn a trade. There is a severe lack in tradesmen and the pay is good, way less schooling, but it's hard work. Yeah, trade school makes a lot of money right now, mostly because nobody wants to do it. So it's hard to find a good trade school person because it's hard work. It really is. Trade school is hard labor, but it can be lucrative. You can make a lot of money off of it. Tempest, also, if you are a young person, you don't have to be rich, just enough to get by and save little while you're living within your means. That's also very good advice. It's more important that you are happy and not overstressed your day to day. True. Batman, Shizusan, next time just say I don't know and stop there. Yeah, you're right. Truth or no comment. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that would have been the better way. That would have been the better way to say it. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. But there's just a thing. I don't know. Just let it be. You guys are killing me here. Okay. So I want to say all of this in a nutshell. This is talking about community. So we covered forums, we covered Facebook. There's also a community in Twitter and Instagram. But the thing with Twitter and Instagram, it's mostly just sharing pictures, and then people are like, hey, that picture's really cool. Where did you buy that? Or things like that. It's not really like a huge information hub as much as Facebook groups or Discord. Okay? Although Discord, I can't really say much because I'm not really a part of any Discord groups. If you guys want me to join your Discord group, send it to me in my email, dlwshizusan@gmail.com. It's in my information bio. Mainly because I don't even know where to start. I'm in Discord myself, but like for like gaming and stuff. I haven't used Discord yet for dolls. I haven't breached that modicum of social media for dolls yet. I know it exists because I hear a lot of people talk about it all the time. I'm just not a part of any of them as of yet. So if you have a Discord group that you want me to join, let me know and I'll join. Let's see. Tempest Drive. Oh, it's midnight. The bells are tolling. Yeah, I know. The bells are tolling. So so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to discuss for community in this episode. Is just what it's like, how to find things, all those different things. And like you could see, as in today, this is a very big topic. So we're we're definitely going to have more conversation about community in further episodes. And I actually have guests speakers coming in to talk about the whole community thing in future episodes. So look forward to that. But this is just a taste of like community and all that stuff. So before we go today, I want to broach the topic of Dream Doll section, right? Because we didn't talk about Dream Doll yet. So I want to talk about my Dream Doll selection for the week. Let's see. We're going to go and we're going to change views here. We're going to talk about this week's Dream Doll, right? So I told you last week that we're going to do a very popular show today, and we are. Do you guys know what it is? You guys have any guesses for Dream Doll? Here we go. Ready? Boom! Spy Family, right? How many of you watch Spy Family? Anybody? Let me see. I'm going to do a poll. Let's see. Hold on. I'm typing out the poll. Let's see. We're going to say... Okay. Oh, actually, I should change this to this. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to put up a poll yet. All right, so you guys, while I'm talking and doing all my stuff, you guys can participate in the poll. So we're going to talk about Spy Family. And with Spy Family, the one I want to focus on is going to be your Forger or your Briar, whichever name you want to, go by. And that's going to be this lovely lady right here. I believe that she should be... Especially right now, the popularity for Spy Family is out the window. People love this show like crazy. So I think that whoever does it, whether it's Smart Doll or Dolphy Dream, whoever does it definitely needs to jump on the bandwagon right now because it is so popular. I'm talking about, I haven't seen popularity of this scale since when Demon Slayer first came out. And Demon Slayer is fairly recent, but Spy Family is really big. It's huge right now. And there's only like 6 episodes out. It's not even done yet. It's like simulcast right now. So Yor is one of the characters. And this is what I think. If it's going to be Dolphy Dream, right? If it's going to be Dolphy Dream. Here we go. We're going to say this one right here, the DDH9 head. I think that this could work for Yor. As well as the DDH14 head could also work for Yor, but the eyes are a little too big for her because she's kind of like got like a lot more thinner eyes. Also, you can go for this one, which I think is a perfect one, the DDH24. I think this one would work great for her. Or, oops, wrong button. Or we could go with this, the brand new DDH26 head. I think the 26 head is probably the best one if you want to capture her well, gee, for those of you that didn't watch the show, I don't want to give anything away. So it is called Spy Family, right? So you already got that. So I want to say the DDH26 head would be, if you want to imitate her spy side, that would be the best. But if you want to picture her everyday side, I think the DDH24 is best, or the DDH 9. The 14 can work, but you know, I just kind of put it out there maybe that it may look close or not. But yeah, those are my 4 choices for your. Let's see, what are you guys saying here? 3 minutes, 15 minutes, 45 minutes, 2 hours. I love it. Do the small child. The small child, yeah, for her, we could do that on another day. I didn't actually gather the heads that I think it would be for her. I kind of like focused on your, because I like your a lot. But that's my personal bias, why I focused on your. Let's see. I'm behind. Yeah, me too. I've only seen the first 3 episodes. I didn't see the next 3, and that's because I'm waiting for them to come on dub because I'm too lazy to read subtitles. So I know that 4 and 5 are out. I'm waiting for 6 to be on dub so I can watch it straight. I hate watching 1 episode every week. It's just a pet peeve of mine. Shiki Katana. Someone did a face-up of Anya F4GT where forgot where I saw it though. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, there might be one floating around because it's hugely popular now, and I know a lot of people are cosplaying all the characters from this, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple custom dolls already being made. SB Writer, the Spy Family characters look cute. They definitely are. I love them. Tempstrike, Anya would be USD or 45 centimeter. Yeah, if they made an Anya, an MSD would be a mini Dolphy Dream would be the closest for like the vinyl anime dolls, or if you want to delve into resin, there definitely are smaller ones that you can get, like the USD. Keith, what's up? Keith, I didn't know you were here. What's going on? Check out Hemi's Doll Room on YouTube for custom your. Oh, let me write that down. I would love to check that out. Let's see. Hemi's Doll Room custom your. I will definitely check that out because I would love a custom your. And by the way, thanks for stopping by, Keith. It's always great seeing you. Tempest Strike 26 is the best since it doesn't have as round cheeks. That's true. It does have more of a what's called longer face, so that does work also. But I think the 24 one that I like, it's not as round. The other one, the 9 is definitely a lot more rounded, or the 14. 24 is kind of like a down and then another down kind of thing, but like 26 is more like a V shape, which is very nice too. Let's see. Demi says, "Oh, the 26, those eyes." Yeah, I know, right? Those eyes are awesome. Like, I love that eye shape. I might get a 26 sometime in the future. Let's see. Tempest says, Volks tends to have chubby cheeks and round faces. Yeah, a lot of their stuff is, like, their older stuff tends to have that. But as you can see, like, with 24, 25, 26, and also with the older ones, like I think it's the DDH7 and the DDH17, they're going for more of, like, the smaller eyes or the narrower eyes for some characters, which is really nice, too. Let's see. Bottom left expression is kind of nice, though. Yeah, I think so. I think that might be nice. But remember, all these, for a good face-up artist, they can always change the mouth. So if it doesn't have the mouth that you want, they can always change that. The eye shape is harder to change, but it's not like it's impossible. But, like, you want to get as close to the eye shape as you can. And noses can be changed slightly, too. For a good face-up artist, they can do it. Let's see. Jaffred. The anime is awesome. Yor and Anya are so funny. Dude, all the characters are funny. Like, this, the whole show makes me laugh, like, all the time. I love it. It is so good. Same thing with My Dress Up Darling. If you guys haven't watched My Dress Up Darling, that show is amazing. I haven't gotten that far into it because, again, I'm waiting for more episodes to build up so I can, like, binge watch it. That's kind of like what I like to binge watch. I don't like watching, like, episode per episode. Let's see. Keith Walker, great to be here. She also did Anya. Okay, cool. So I'll definitely check that out. The Hemi's, what'd you say it was? Hemi's Doll. I wrote it down, but now I can't read my own handwriting. Damn it. Was it Hemi's? Yeah, Hemi's Doll Room. Yeah, that's what I wrote. Okay, Hemi's Doll. I will check that out later off stream. But yeah, these are my choices. If it's going to be a Dolphy Dream, I think those 4 heads, in my personal opinion, would work fine. But if you're going for a particular expression for your girl, like for your, if you're going to make a your, you could always go with another head. These are just the ones that I think would match her for, like, this particular look. My Dress Up Darling is extremely relatable. I feel like it's relatable for me in the sense of like me dressing up my dolls, right? But not in a sense of cosplay, because the show is actually about cosplaying. But yes, it definitely relates in that sense. So now let's talk about like if Smart Doll were to make a your, or if you wanted to make a custom your. Let's see what we can look at, right? So let's clear the board. All right, so for Smart Doll, this is my choices. We have Challenge, and I picked Challenge because of the eye shape. I think the eye shape would work really well. They would have to change the mouth, of course, because she's kind of like got that stern look. But she does have happy scenes, so if you wanted a happy looking your, that would work. Or you could go with Envisage again. Envisage is another popular one because that eye shape is so popular. She's definitely something that you could use for a lot of different characters. And then here's another one I was thinking, Athena. I think Athena would work really well if you want like a tan your, because Athena comes in T. So if you wanted like a tan version of your, you could definitely try Athena. I think the eye shape is definitely really good for her. But they might be the same sculpt. I don't know if Athena and Challenge are the same sculpt, because like I said, I'm bad with these sculpts. I only memorize sculpts by like the names of the characters, so they could be the same exact sculpt. I don't know. And then I threw this one out because even though it's an anime girl and it's anime styled, I thought that maybe a semi-real might work, so I thought maybe Nostalgia. If you wanted a semi-real version of your and you wanted to custom face up to make her look like your, I think Nostalgia might be the best choice. But they would have to, the face up artist would have to work on the nose a little bit, because it's a little, for any anime character, it's a little too pronounced. But yeah, I think if anything, maybe you could try Nostalgia. Maybe she might work. But yeah, Athena is Kizuna Anniversary. That's correct. Yeah, Athena is Kizuna Anniversary. Tempest right, top left, eye slope down slightly. Yeah, a little bit. Let's see what else we got going here. Shiki Katana. I find Smart Doll mouth is harder to mod than Dolphy Dreams. You tell me. I actually don't know because I'm not a face-up artist, so I have no idea the difficulty that goes into it. I just know that I've seen face-up artists do it. Like they've made open mouths, closed mouths. One eye closed, both eyes closed. They made like a lot of different things. So, if you're saying that the mouth is the hardest to mod, then for a Smart Doll, then maybe. That might be the case, especially for the anime girls, because I can definitely see why you say that, because it looks like, to me, it looks like the mouth is more so a line indentation than anything, whereas a lot of the Dolphy Dreams they actually have pronounced lips, like the semi-real dolls do, right? Am I wrong on that? Maybe. Let me know. Put it in chat. Like again, I'm not a face-up artist, so I don't know the difficulty that goes into it. This is just my layman's observation of what it might be. But that's my choices. So these are my choices. If it's going to be a Smart Doll girl that you want to customize to make into a your, obviously if Smart Doll or Dolphy Dream were to pick up the licensing for this character, they're going to make a custom head specifically for that character. So that would be different. But if you want to make a custom one, these are the ones that I think would probably work the best. Oh my gosh, my throat is drying up here. So yeah, that is my take on this week's Dream Doll section. Hopefully, you guys liked it. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree, but let me know in the chat or the comment section down below if you agree with these choices for your, or even if you want to see a your doll. I would love to see a your dolls. Definitely want your doll. That would be awesome, especially with all the hype around Spy Family right now. I think that would be nice, especially too with My Dress Up Darling. Some company better pick that up. I don't care who it is, Smart Doll, Dolphy Dream. One of them's got to pick up My Dress Up Darling. They have to. That would be another one. Maybe I'll do My Dress Up Darling, like my take on it, for Dream Doll section. But to be honest with you, the main character in that one, I think that she has the same face type as your, is very similar, so it might be the same heads that I pick again. Excuse me. it might be the same heads I pick again because they kind of have the same face, sort of, like not exact, but like it's close. At least I think so. Let's see. Shiki Kanata. Dolphy Dreams has nice lips. They definitely do. Tempest Strife needs modded knees for action poses. Yeah. Like, at least for smart dolls, right? Dolphy Dream has a little bit more movement in the knees than smart dolls do. But I think that, what is it? That doll, I think it's called Doll JPF or something like that. They make knee joints for smart doll to make it work better. And I've seen some reviews online. Some people say that it exposes it more, or if it's hard to do. I don't know. But if you do some research online, because I don't remember where I saw it, but somebody did a very good in-depth review on the doll JPF or no, Doll JPF is another guy that posts a lot of pictures. No, I think it's like it's doll something. He makes a lot of like mods for smart doll. Like he did the Connie eyes, he did the leg joints, the hip joints, the arm joints, the neck joints. He has like a lot of stuff. I gotta figure out what his handle was. But there is a guy out there that does it. I have to look into that. I forgot his name. Let's see the poll. I'm gonna end the poll now. Let's see what you guys say. So for the poll, 60% of you said you haven't seen it yet. 40% that say I like it, and nobody said dislikes out of 10 votes. So like that's like 6 people that say that haven't seen it yet, basically. So for those 6 of you that participated in the poll that haven't seen it, I don't know what your taste in anime is, like what you generally like, those of you that said you haven't seen it, but I think that this is the type of show that can appeal to a wide audience. I don't think it's like very niche, where only certain people can get into it, but I think Doll Fun, yes, Shiki Katana, you got it right, Doll Fun, DOLFON, that's the company that makes the knee joint thing. So definitely look into that. But as for Spy Family, I think it's one of those shows that can attract people from all different genres of anime. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it's relatable to a lot of people. So definitely check that out, Spy Family. If you haven't seen it yet, I personally would highly recommend it. I think it's great. But also watch My Dress Up Darling if you need another cool show that's kind of relatable to being in the doll hobby in a way. It's sort of a little bit relatable. So definitely check out My Dress Up Darling also. The only difference is that My Dress Up Darling, I don't recommend it for younger viewers. It's definitely not good for younger viewers. Spy Family depends. So with My Dress Up Doll, it's more of a sexual nature. If I'm saying that correctly, that you might not want younger kids knowing about. And I'm not saying there's sex in it. I'm just saying it involves like things that you may not want younger people to watch. And for Spy Family, if you have younger people, you may not want them watching it because there is some violence. So I don't know your degree of level that you like your children watching, like what amount of violence you're allowed to let them watch. So again, if you're an adult, watch both of them. But if you're a younger kid or if you're an adult and you think you might want to watch it around your kids, you may not want to watch either of these shows around kids, depending on your sensitivity or your house rules of violence or sexuality kind of thing. But yeah, that's my take on Doll Dreams, Dream Doll, your Forger, aka your Briar. That's my thoughts on that. Hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know in the comment section down below for those of you that are not watching this live, or let me know in the chat if you're watching this live on stream. But that ends that. I'll go back to the main screen. So that's pretty much everything for today's episode. That's everything for today. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you everybody for coming. Let's bring out for those of you that were not here for the very beginning of the episode, Yay! Let's bring out Mika Jogasaki. So it's me, Shizusan, your host, and my lovely assistant here, Mika Jogasaki. Thank you everybody for coming for the third episode of Beyond the Doll. We talked about the doll community. We at least the entry level talk about it. We delved into the beginnings of the doll community. There's going to be more episodes coming up in the future about the doll community because there's just so much to talk about in regards to it. You can't possibly cover it all. But hopefully you guys liked this episode. Hopefully you liked this video and everything. Please give it a like. Hit that thumbs up button because it helps YouTube disseminate it to more people. The more likes this video gets, the more it'll send it out as a suggestion for a lot more people to see. If you enjoyed this video, of course. If you didn't enjoy it, then hit the dislike button. Let me know you didn't like it. But if you did like it, please hit that like button. And if you want to go even further, subscribe to my channel so that you get all notifications of when my new videos are coming up, and share the video to all your friends if you'd like to too. So that's me, Shizusan. It's really late. We're gonna call it a night. Thank you everybody for coming, and for those of you that are watching at a later date, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. See you guys later.